Hey there guys, welcome back to the QPR Career Mode and welcome to today's episode. If you're not all nice and caught up, go check out the playlist, get yourself caught up, and then of course welcome to today's video. Today, I said in the last episode or two that we would do a bit of an ad mini episode, and today, today's going to be that episode. We're going to go through a lot of our contracts that are up for renewal, and we're going to be looking at a lot of players deciding sort of who stays, who goes sort of vibe as we get closer and closer to that January transfer window. So today, there will be a little bit less gameplay as a bit of a pre-warning to you all, just so you know, in case you're like, actually, contracty stuff's not my thing, feel free to sort of skim through. You'll see as when we're getting to the end of it. But there will be a little bit of gameplay at the end of the video, so don't worry, there will still be something. But at the moment, top of the table, a very, very big win against Norwich. Huge win, in fact, that helped us secure that spot at the top of the table. And just some great form overall, actually, because we've been playing really, really well, getting those wins, being pretty consistent. It's been pretty amazing, in all honesty, with how things are turning around. But you guys can see, so us and Norwich at the moment in automatics. Sheffield United, Burnley, Leeds, West Brom. That is an incredibly strong playoff quad there. That's pretty mental. Derby up in 7th. Massive fair play to them. Obviously, all three of the promoted teams not doing awfully by any stretch at the moment in real life as well. But yeah, Derby up in 7th, massive fair play to them. And then as we go down the table, looking at the bottom three, you've got Sheffield Wednesday at the bottom, Stoke City and Oxford United in that bottom three. Still plenty of teams obviously in amongst it. It's still very early doors. We're not even halfway in the season yet, but Middlesbrough, Portsmouth, Bristol City, Swansea, Millwall, all in that sort of contention as well. And then a bit of a middle of table situation going on for some of those teams there as well. But yeah, that's the table as it stands right now. Like I was saying, our form has been pretty ridiculously good. We had a 3-1 win against Oxford, 1-0 against Norwich, and then I mean, look at this. Just the unbeaten run has been incredible. Our last loss was actually against Derby, who we were talking about how good their form has been. But yeah, it's been pretty phenomenal. It's been a good plethora of clean sheets in there as well at that same time. So it's been very, very impressive, I have to say, how well we're doing at the moment. I'm hopeful the wheels don't come off of this because obviously that would be very problematic if it was. But the main thought process and the main vibe for today is we're going through the squad hub and we are going to be sorting out these contracts because, as you can see, we have got plenty of players with contracts due to run out. Now, it is worth noting, obviously, Ashby, nothing I can do about Ashby as he is only here on loan. Likewise, at the moment, with Karamoko Dembele, my hope and plan is that next season I will be able to buy him permanently. I believe in this, it doesn't have our release clause that we know. So it doesn't have the prearranged deal that, obviously, because for those who don't know, we have now actually signed Dembele. We have activated the loan to buy option, £1.4 million, which is an absolute steal. I don't have that option in this. So we don't have the money to buy Dembele right now. This will be a next season thing. I do aim to buy Dembele in. But going through a lot of our players that are obviously due to run out of contract, there's some very, very, main starter players here. We've got Kenneth Powell, Sato, Ilias Chair, Frey. We've got some players that do get regular minutes in there. And some players that are a little bit less likely to get minutes and stuff. But my thought process here, I'm going to re-sign everyone. And there'll be some players that I'll end up looking to move on in January or even the start of next season. And then there'll be some players that we look to obviously keep long term. So that's going to be the plan. And we're going to go through everyone and just sort their contracts out. I'm going to delegate, and then I have the option of seeing what some of the things are saying. And then I can obviously go in and alter it if I'm not happy with the deals that are being made. I would like to have as many people stay on the same amount of wages as possible. That is my hope here. So I'm going to test the waters a bit with Kenneth Powell, which is maybe a silly play here, but he's gone with 14. That's okay. So £2,000 extra, 3 years added on. Absolutely fine with that. We'll sign that one right in that dotted line. Now, I cannot add anything here to Colback. I'm fairly sure Colback is retiring, I believe, which is why I can't offer him anything. Because I've got the option to add. So, yeah, it's not that he's like handed in a request or anything. It's just that he's obviously looking to retire at the end of the season. So, Colback will be going regardless. That is something that I don't really have too much of a choice in the matter of. Again, I don't really want to go too much overboard here. So, I'm going to go again, sort of similar vibe. It's a £1,000 extra. I'm okay with that. Again, I'll be honest with you, he's probably someone we're going to look to move on and use that money to buy a replacement is sort of the vibe there. Solomon Young, goalkeeper. Again, I'm going to offer that. Cool. £500 extra a week, 3 years added on. Perfect. Elijah Dixon-Bonner, somebody in this that I really would like to keep hold of. I do think there is a very high ceiling for Elijah Dixon-Bonner in real life. I do think there's a hell of a good player in there. We just haven't seen the best of yet. A little bit of a wage increase, 4 years. Fantastic. Sporadic as well. I'm checking out the what's it called? The squad role, because I don't want anyone to like end up being given like important or, you know, crucial, and they're like, for example, Lloyd 55 rated isn't going to be crucial for us this season, you know. So I don't want to mess up any expectations of what people are hoping to be offered here. Let's go 7 to 10. I'm hoping he accepts around 8.1. Oh, I don't want that release clause though, so we're going to negotiate, get that release clause out of there. Prospect, absolutely fine. 3-year extension, also fine with me. Didn't want the release clause anyway, so cheers, mate. Couldn't have just done that in the first place. He asked for 8.1. I'll offer 8 and 20 grand. See if that's something he's willing to sort of meet me at. Great. Happy with that. Very nice. Saved ourselves £100 on the weekly budget. I don't know if the 20 grand would have gone anyway, but we'll find that one out later. Ryan Coley, another player that I absolutely want staying at the club. No way I'm letting Ryan go anywhere anytime soon. 7 to 10, I think will be the vibe here. I think he's going to ask for about 8.5. 8.1, no release clause, 4 years. Yes, please. Anderson next. Actually, you know what? What I should be doing is I should be prioritizing the players that play. I should be prioritizing the big boys, because that would be where we fall apart. 11.5, fantastic. Only £500 extra a week. It's great seeing some of these guys who are like willing to just stay on very similar contracts. That makes me very happy. I'm going to go 14 to 20 for Ilias. I think if anyone deserves a huge boost, it is our boy Ilias Chair. He's been very consistent. And he took 14 as well. I think he was on 14.5. Ilias even took a blooming pay cut. I love you, Ilias, mate. What a boy. Right, that's like the crucial 2 done. So I'm happy with that. We'll now just sort of get everyone else added and sorted here. Let's go 10 to 14 for Lucas. He took 14, man. He wanted right at the top. 2-year extension. I won't lie to you guys. I'm half tempted to maybe use Anderson as somebody to move on, to bring in some extra cash for other spots. I'll keep it real with you all. Nothing against Lucas particularly. I've been saying in real life, there we go, rotation as well for Frey. 2 years rotation. Fair enough, mate. I've been saying in real life that I think at the moment he is slowing the game down far too much for us in times. He's indecisive. He's making mistakes. I think he almost needs to break out of the first team. Hopefully, Chair is available to come in and start soon. Take a bit of pressure off Anderson, because it kind of feels like he's failing under that pressure of being the Chair replacement while Chair's been out. And that's big boots to fill at QPR right now. You know, Ilias Chair has been such a huge part of QPR for such a, you know, good handful of years now. And I think that's weighed heavy a little bit, if you're my honest opinion. And I think that's been a part of it. But there we go, 4 grand. He's taken a wage cut as well as Joe Walsh. Got a lot of love for Joe Walsh. I think he's going to be a great keeper down the line. Obviously, still pretty young in his goalkeeping days. But that is everyone signed on that we can. Colback can't sign new contract because I believe he is retiring. Ashby and Dembele are both in on loan, so I can't do anything about them. Everyone else, though, contract extended, and I'm very happy with that. That's great news, in all honesty. I think that's really good for us. Keeps the squad relatively deep, which is also really good to see, because I would say that we've got a relatively narrow squad in the grand scheme of things, that we don't have a crazy amount of depth, and a lot of the reserve depth is definitely youth. And we don't have a crazy amount of option at times, but really happy with that. We'll see what that financially means for us as well. We're just in and around that 2 million mark. We currently have 2.2, so we potentially have a little bit of money to play with in the transfer window. £2 million is nothing to be too upset by. I was given some transfer requests, or suggestions, I should say, in the comments. I will re-go through those and start scouting people after today's episode, because basically my thought process, my plan here is I want you guys obviously to have a bit of a say in things that we do and we don't do. There might be some that end up not working. There might be some that we can't afford, but they're people that we can think of for down the line. If I'm being entirely honest and thinking about like positions that I think we are in need of, I would say left back is probably the main priority here. Ashby has had to play out of position a good couple of times. He can't play left back. We are training him, I believe, to play left back so he can cover both sides and sort of not drop massively in his stats. I would also say if we're letting go of Anderson, maybe a replacement cam, and the same could kind of be said for Frey. Here's the thing. I said at the start of the series, there will be players that you guys might love that end up going. There will be some signings that you might think, when is that person ever going to join QPR? Eventually down the line, levels of realism will dissipate because, if we get ourselves into we're first in the championship table. Realism is out the window, boys. But there will be times where we have to make signings that suit us while keeping it realistic in the context of the career mode, But yeah, a left back is a big priority for me personally. I think depending on how Morrison progresses and how Morrison grows stats-wise, we might need another centre-back down the line because Jimmy Dunn can come in for Cook, obviously, as and when Cook is 33, so it is getting to a point that this is probably going to be his last season with us in this save. Jimmy Dunn could come in and do a job for him that following season. Morrison, however, then is quite a big drop in rating at that point. So it is something to think about. The only other left-back option we have is Fox. But Fox, as a left-back, is quite slow. 60 pace for a left-back is not ideal. So I would say a backup left-back for Kenneth Powell, somebody that maybe in a year could look to possibly compete with Kenneth Powell. And then maybe a replacement for Anderson if we let Anderson go. And having that versatility of being able to play at least one of the wide positions as well would be quite nice. Not a huge issue because we could always train them to do that, but it would be quite nice as well. But those are the things we're thinking about maybe for the transfer window, which will be most likely starting in next episode. But yeah, without further ado, I guess now we just crack on with a couple of things here. A role update, so he can actually play wing back now. Okay, so that's what I was training him to do. I was training him to be able to play wing back. How long would it take for him to learn to play left back? 2 weeks. You know what? We'll add it so it's on his positions, and then I'll retrain him as a right back so it's his primary position again. I think that makes sense. I think that's actually me being vaguely clever. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened now. But yeah, I'll skip forward and I'll see you guys most likely at Bristol City. Okay, so some rotation needed today, some tired legs in that starting 11. Jimmy Dunn comes in for Cook, as I was sort of almost hinting at would happen down the line in this career mode. Jimmy Dunn makes his way into the starting 11. Anderson comes in. He did ask to play, but also Sato was very tired. So Anderson at cam, Ilias out on the left. Frey comes in for a tired Seller as well. And we do lose a few important players off the bench. We've actually had to bring in Benny, Elijah Dixon-Bonner, and Morrison, all because of stamina reasons. So I have got it set that stamina is like the main focus for the starting 11 and bench, just because for me, that's going to be the best way to have our strongest 11 out as often as possible. But it seems that it was too much to do in a short period of time. So it's going to be some tired legs out there in some capacity anyway. But let's see if we can take on Bristol City there. I think it was 19th it said, so they're not at the bottom, but they're in a little bit of a scrap near that bottom little chunk of the table. There's only a couple of points in it between I think it was it Oxford maybe? That was Oxford and Stoke, I think, that were just the top of the bottom three. I think they're all relatively close-wise to the like 4 or 5 teams above, so, which would include Bristol City in that sense. So a big game at both ends of the table here. I was obviously looking to keep our top of the table spot and them looking to try and just push away from that bottom of the table fight. So let's see which of those fights ends up being the winner today. Hopefully it's the boys in blue and white. Hopefully it's QPR. Let's find out. Come on, you ours. Dembele looks to take one man on. He does take one on. Now he's going to cut inside and take out a second player. Or the ball through to Anderson would have been really nice there. I was maybe just a touch on the slow side. Or we could just say the defender did pretty well. I'll go with that one. Oh, Anderson wins the ball in a really good spot there. Nice quick pass into Frey. Frey first time on that left foot. And he does find the back of the net. Things you love to see. Oh, man. I do love Frey. What a boy. He gives me such a... I get like proper Poulter vibes in that he just tries really hard. But this season as well, it's been evident like in real life that he tries hard. And there is a very good player in there. There's a really good finisher of that ball. He's scrappy. He gets the job done. He's a fighter. And I love him. And I'm really glad to see within a couple of minutes of getting his chance to start today over the tired Seller, he's making the most of it. He's found the back of the net. I think it's his 3rd or 4th goal this season for us. It's his 4th goal. As a player who has been, on the majority, just a bit part player, 4 goals is nothing to really be upset about. Very, very well done, man. I'm happy with him. 1-0, like 6-7 minutes in. You'll love to see it. Oh, great tackle here. Dembele looks up, finds Frey. Frey, oh, I won't lie to you. I was going to hit it first time again, but Frey's actually won that ball back really, really well. Dembele, oh, it looks a bit further back than I was looking. Madsen is going to have this ball now. He's going to play it up to Dembele. Dembele's going to have a bit of a run here. Runs at the defence. Ball roll. Takes it past his man. Pulls it onto his left. That's a phenomenal tackle. That is an incredible tackle. I think it's McNally who plays alongside Rob Dickey. That was a very, very good stop, because if it wasn't for that, I'm not saying it was definitely going in, but it was definitely a shot coming from Karamoko Dembele. Bristol City have kind of just kept the ball for a good old chunk of time. Similar to the games, the one I remember is Millwall. Apologies, it's not me just having a dig at Millwall every time, but it's the team that I remember doing it. As soon as you put them under pressure, look, they turn around and they find a backwards pass. All I've got to do is close this guy down, and as soon as I get into a spot where he's like, oh, I can't possibly go forward, there's a player near me, they just go backwards. It does need looking into, because it happens far too often. And if you went 1-0 down and then came up against a team like this, it can be very, very difficult to win that ball back at times. It really, really can be. Nice to see them actually going forward here, though. That is a nice little addition. But look, as soon as he's under pressure, they just go back again. It really does make for some boring highlights, and for that I apologise. There's not too much I can do about it. Well, we did win it back just before the end of half, but the halftime whistle goes, and that is going to be all she wrote for the first half. It's been a good 45 minutes from us, if not ever so slightly frustrating in the latter part of it. Let me guys know, if you play on Legendary, is this something you guys come up against in Career Mode? Or if whatever difficulty you play against, do you have it on other difficulties as well? But I don't get this on Legendary in Ultimate Team. If I'm playing squad battles, I never have teams do that. I'd love for teams to do that, because I could get a goal or two and then just know that I could just see the game out, get the easy points. But it never happens that way. So let me know if that's something you guys experience as well, or if I'm just a bit unlucky here. But I think for now, more of the same. I don't think we need to change too much. Clark Salter's a little bit tired there, so I'll probably take him off at some point for Morrison. A, it's good to get Morrison some minutes, but B as well, keeps Clark Salter fighting fit for the next game, because games do start to come thick and fast in that winter period. December is quite infamous for being a very chock-a-block football period in English football. So let's see if we can just see this one out. Hopefully it doesn't end with Bristol City having about 90% possession, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Come on, you ass. Well, they've actually run the ball off the pitch here, and I made early substitutions expecting the ball to be in play till about the 70th minute, and those changes not to happen if I waited any longer. I've made 3 very early changes. Morrison, Dixon, Bonner, and Benny, I think it was, came on. I took off Sam Field, Jake Clark-Salter, and Karamoko Dembele. Again, I made those changes early to make sure that it didn't get to like the 70th. I paused it, went to make the changes. The changes didn't happen until the ball next went out of play, and then the ball never left the pitch. It ended up leaving the pitch a lot quicker than I expected. So, yeah, very early changes in the second half. My bad. We get the ball in here to Frey. Frey turns his man. Frey with the strike. Frey with the second. He has been living off of breadcrumbs for this game. He's been given very few chances. The team has overall been given very few chances. But from 2 very small chances, Frey has found the back of the net with both. Lovely stuff. One in his left, one in his right. This turn here, lovely. Just takes McNally out of the picture. Doesn't give him a chance. And that is a lovely rocketed shot into that bottom corner there. That's the kind of strike you like to see from Frey. He likes to get it onto his right and then hit the thing. He just absolutely batters it, and he hits it very blooming hard. And that's a lovely finish there. 2-0, 2 goals for Frey as well. Things you'll have to see. We're going to try and build up slowly from the back here. It's been a lot of, again, Bristol City having that ball and sort of just holding on to it, being very, very cautious, knocking it around, not really letting much go. But I'm trying to attack a little bit quicker, playing slightly more risky passes. So my possession is not going to be anywhere near as high as theirs. I genuinely reckon by the end of the game, it's going to be about 75% possession, Bristol City. They have just sat on the ball, and it has been pretty infuriating, I'll be honest with you. Ball out wide here to Chair. We see the overlap coming from Powell, but Chair is going to keep hold of it. Or I won't lie, I was trying a little finesse number from the edge of the box there. We know Ilias has got one in him, and I thought I'd give it a go, but we didn't quite get the chance to do so. But Bristol City with a bit of a chance to counter here, a bit of a chance to push forward, and they are slowly pushing forward. They've worked their way into our half, worked their way back, and yeah, I mean, look, I'm not even sprinting after them. I'm just jogging after them. It's frustrating playing those kind of games. I'm glad we got the goals that we did, though, because otherwise that would have been an incredibly frustrating 0-0. But it is 3 more points. It is a chance for us to stay at the top of the table. And again, if we keep playing like this and keep getting the wins, any chance for the teams to catch up to us we get further and further ahead if they trip up at any moment. So let's see if we can keep that up. Very, very happy with that. I'm going to look at the match stats, though, because I'm very, very curious. 72. It's ridiculous, boys. It is ridiculous. While I was going through the post-match interview and everything, I'll be honest, I came up with a terrible pun idea for the title. If this video is called The Championship Should Be Afraid, and I've somehow tried to squeeze Mitchy Frey's name in there, Tom, in this moment of time, apologizes. I think future Tom, who then ends up writing that pun, won't apologize. But apologies from me anyway. But we've had a really good email coming in here for Madsen. He is now officially a CDM. Very happy with that indeed. We will no longer have the little thing saying his app position. Thank the Lord. That's great. Honestly, that's great news for us. I'm very, very, very happy with that indeed. Now, what do I want him to play, I guess, is the question. Box to box is kind of his vibe, but you can't really do a box to box from CDM. Do I want deep line playmaker? Maybe. Do I want holding? Probably. I'm going to go with holding for now. It feels like a waste. The shot power's already at max. The strength's at max. The jumping's at max. Deep line playmaker is just his composure at max. How long's holding going to take? 26 weeks. You know what? Let's get his holding up, and then we'll do the deep line playmaker. I'll get a plus on both, and then I'll work out which I want to plus him in. I think that's going to be the smart play. I think deep line playmaker makes the most sense for Madsen for the kind of style of player he is, because realistically, he's not a CDM. For me, he's like a number 8, sort of plays that drifting role of like a box-to-box sort of vibe. And I think that's what suits him best. But needs must in the career mode. Needs must. Cam role now for Ahmed, 49 rated. It's kind of what we expected. Advanced playmaker is what we're going to whack onto Ahmed. We then have the message from Anderson. He did ask to play in the last game. So it's probably him going, cheers, mate. You're very welcome. Keep those feet on the ground, my man. And then we've got 2 unread emails. Let's see if it's anything exciting. Outdated scout reports. Those are the scout reports gone. We knew that was the case. So that's fine. Okay, going into this game against Preston with our full strength 11. This is basically just the situation now where whenever we can, this is the team we play. I think we sort of touched on that in another video, maybe the last episode, where I was basically saying, whenever we can play this team, we play this team. It's so good to see again Madsen now without that little exclamation mark being like, haha, he's out position. Wrong. He's in position, EA. But we've also got Varane on the bench, who Varane has been so good when we brought Varane in. He just plays so well. Him and Field is a real nice duo. So having that option, if we need to, is great. I feel ever so slightly at times I'm underusing him with how good he's felt every time we played him. But needs must. Madsen is also very, very good. So I'm happy to play Madsen as well. But we are at home, back at the Loftus Road, which is the place you want to be. I love it there. My home. And we're going to hopefully come away with 3 important points today. That is what we're hoping for. Sato on the Tifo. Go on, fella. Love to see it, mate. He's a little bit upset because he didn't play the last game, but he was very tired, so it kind of made sense. But it is first against, I think they're 15th. They are 15th. First against 15th. Let's see if we can do it. It's weird, by the way, that it just shows the bottom 2 there as being in the relegation scrap. Very, very odd indeed. But Salah obviously missed it out the last game. Now falls goal behind on the top goal scorer. He's going to want to be catching up there. So let's see if we can do that. Come on, Got to be a little bit careful here. Preston pushing through the middle. They find their man down the middle. It's Reese, I think, is their striker. Might be wrong. And if I'm saying it wrong, I also apologise. Be a little bit careful not to let it through. What a Madsen. He's a really good CDM. Do you guys know that? Madsen, CDM. He's really good at it. Sato with a great tackle there, high up the pitch as well. Ilias is going to try and set away Sella. He's pushed out a little bit wide here, but he's going to cut inside. And Sella across the goal. Great save from the keeper. It's going to drop to Sam Field. Edge of the box. It's another great save. Dembele going to get it in first time. I think he was offside. A bit of a squiffed cross anyway. It wasn't a very good cross indeed. But yeah, that was unlucky there. Really good job there from the keeper. Got across really, really well to get that save from Sam Field. I did try and hit it first time, but yeah, Field was maybe slightly hesitant to hit it first time, and I get it, but that's okay. Hold on. Sella. Oh, if I'd have just skipped past the man there, that could have been a really, really, really good assist from Madsen. Chair over the top now. Finds Dembele. Dembele, really good control there. Brings it down nicely. Not many options to play it off to, but Chair's going to get it there. Sella. Oh, it's just wide of the post. It's a good effort. Nice bit of play in the end. Options felt really limited, and I think sometimes that is going to be the case when I'm playing that one striker system and I'm playing midfielders rather than wingers. They do just sit that little bit deeper. But yeah, good effort. Just wasn't quite on target. If it was, I think they're 1-0 to the good there. Madsen picks up the ball. Good strength to hold his man off. And then good vision to see Sato out wide. Sato inside to Ilias. Ilias, couldn't quite get that second touch to play it through. Unlucky there. Great tackle. Madsen high up the pitch again. Sato inside. Finds Sella. Sella going to have to turn. Finds Ilias. Ilias chair. Going to have to just take his time. I don't really have options here. Again, like, they're just closing us down very quickly. It has to be said, Preston's defence is very, very solid here. But Powell inside. Sella with the dramatic. Oh, it would have been an incredible, incredible goal if Jan Sella had scored that. But Woodman, equal to the strike, does pull off the very, very good save. Needed quick reactions and got there very, very well. And yeah, that is going to keep it keep it at 0-0, not 1-1. But Sato, going to whip this ball in there. Does just about beat the first man, but it is got clear in the end by Preston. Can we get that ball in there just before that halftime whistle goes? Let's find out. Ball out wide. Sato. The ref is going to give us a bit of a chance to maybe get this ball in there. Sato puts it in there. It's going to head to Sella. Sella! Oh, it's just wide again. We're looking so, so good. It's such an unfortunate time for that halftime whistle to go because we are absolutely up for it right now. 2 really close efforts from Sella. 3 if you include the shot on target that was saved for the overhead kick. Man, it has been scrappy, but we've looked pretty good, I have to say. I think we have been comfortably the better of the 2 teams. I don't think there's any arguing that, but we've looked good enough to maybe be 2 or 3 goals up here. It's one of those frustrating ones where in real life we've had games like that, and then all it takes is a goal against us, and all of a sudden we look awful. Like against Hull, we started so well, could have gone 2 or 3 goals up genuinely in the first 20 minutes, and then they walked all over us because we didn't make the most of those chances. So we can't let that happen today. We've got to really make sure we push on and see this one out. So we're going to just stick with the same 11 for now. Maybe some changes on the hour mark, roughly. We'll go from there. But let's see if we can take this one, really take it to them. Come on, you ours. 10 or so minutes into this first half, and at the moment, it has just been Preston keeping the ball. It's not been quite as bad as it was against Bristol City with them always just turning around, but it's it's looking a little bit not good. They are kind of just passing it around, and I cannot get a sniff of the ball. Dembele plays it into Chair here. Chair to Sella. Sella back out to Dembele. Come on, we've got to try and do something with this because we're not getting much of the ball in the second half. But we've made some changes with 20 minutes or so on the clock here. A few changes to be made. I have brought on Varane, Smith and Ashby for Field, Dembele and for Santos. So 3 like-for-like changes. Just a bit more attacking in the middle of the park. Some fresh legs out on the right. Both the right-hand side, to be fair. So the right mid and the right back. But Chair now going to have a go. Oh, he sort of hit it with the outside of the boot. I did just ask for a normal strike, but it looked good. It just didn't look like it was going in. You can hear the crowd starting to get against this as well. It is just Preston keeping the ball. That is all it is. And it is a nightmare. I can't get it off them. I'm on team press. I've set the team to attack. I can't get it off them. I'm closing their players down like it's going out of style. And it's just them keeping the ball. And like I say, you can hear the crowd booing. You can hear the crowd not enjoying it. Oh, I don't quite get it through. Actually, it does find its way through here. To Chair. Chair has Paul Smith outside of him. Oh, I wanted it back to Chair, Smithy, mate. 5 minutes to go. And yet again, it is us just trying to close down the players and wait for them to either make a mistake or, I don't know, them to not pass it quick enough and we win it off them. But there's not long left. It's a pass through there. Potts on it. Turns back. They're just going to play it backwards. There's nothing I can do. Or is there? Oh, Sella. If he'd have won that, boys. If he'd have won that. But I think this is going to be a very frustrating 0-0. Incredibly frustrating. I couldn't get the ball. They just kept possession. It needs sorting out, EA, because it's not realistic. Teams don't do that at 0-0 when they're pushing for points. It's infuriating. I'll be honest with you. It's infuriating. I think the response from the crowd is very fair. So a frustrating one there. Obviously not able to get the 3 points, but Norwich have lost 2 games in a row. Since losing to us, all of a sudden, losses are coming thick and fast here for Norwich, and they dropped into 3rd, which means Sheffield United overtake them, and we are still 5 points clear of Sheffield United. Obviously, it could have been 7, but it is what it is. I'm still very happy to be at the top of the table. That in itself is phenomenal. So very, very happy indeed. Bottom of the table is still looking pretty similar, but Middlesbrough in 22nd is crazy. That's absolutely wild. But yeah, they're level on points with Oxford, but a worse goal difference. So That's absolutely mad to me. I won't lie to you. Ryan Coley can now play as a left mid winger plus. I'm going to get rid of that inside forward just because I prefer personally the winger. I just think it's for me preferable. I'm then going to set him on balance just because I want the passing up, I want the shooting up, I also want the pace up. So yeah, I'm just going to set him to balance and just let him kind of do his thing at this point now. I'm absolutely okay with that. We have had an email as well from Frey. I think it might be complaining that he didn't play the last game. Oh, thanks for back the lineup. Sure, mate. I'm proud of you. You keep going, fella. But yeah, I am going to call this one as a slightly shorter episode today. I do apologize. Like I say, doing the admin stuff at the start. I have also got a very busy week this week. Personal life stuff. Very, very busy. So time to film and edit is a little bit less. So just making a slightly shorter episode to kind of allow for that. So apologies. This one is going to be a bit of a shorter one. But hopefully you guys understand that. But that's it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. It supports me, the video, the channel, and the series out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn the notification bell on to be told anytime that we upload a video. And yeah, check out the links in the description. We've got some of our sponsors down there. We've also got links to my pillar, which is links to all of my different social medias and stuff. So feel free to check them all out. But for now, guys, thank you for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves. And of course, wash your hands. Take care.